How hard is it to learn to play the piano? If you know little or nothing about a piano, you may be overwhelmed whether to choose it as your first musical instrument. Maybe you think it's impossible to become a proficient and consistent player. Well, learning the piano is a work in progress. If you commit yourself to a few subtle details, the end will be worth it. This brings us to the question, how hard is it to learn to play the piano? Playing the piano proficiently takes hours of lessons. A little knowledge of the keys, notes, scales, and chords will help you learn how to play the instrument. But many factors contribute to your learning curve. You should stay focused and exercise patience. While anyone can learn to play the instrument, young kids may take longer to grasp the basics. How hard is it to learn to play the piano? If you're eager to play a musical instrument, but you're still in the research phase, this may seem like a lot of information to take in. The trick is to get the basics right, so you don't have to undo the bad habits. In this post, we'll discuss everything about your learning journey. Do you like this information? Please hit the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We will be posting new videos weekly. Should I learn scales or chords first? Piano. Scales are often the first step when learning how to play the piano. Generally, a scale is a set of musical notes ordered by pitch or frequency. It's a good idea to start with the majors before you move to the minors. Experts recommend that you master the C scale first. It contains no sharps or flats. If you begin with the right thumb, you should play the next two notes with the second and third fingers. Do you get the picture? Now you can continue the scale with the second, third, fourth, and fifth fingers. The next step is playing the C major scale with the left hand. For beginners, this can be a bit difficult. You should start with bottom C on your left hand and then play with your fifth finger. Next, you should cross the thumb to the third finger to play A and B with your second finger, and the end of C with the thumb. Guess what? You've played your first scale on a piano. Play the right and left-handed C scales. The important thing to remember when playing with both hands is getting the fingering correct. If you do it wrong, it will be hard to relearn later. While playing scales may feel awkward for new students, the best way to get there is by knowing your scales up, down, forward, and backward. You should practice slowly until you master proper fingering for each hand. A general rule of thumb is to learn one scale per week. If you try too many scales at a time, you could overwhelm yourself. You should learn to play the major scales in the following order: C, G, D, A, E, B, and F. G flat major. D flat major. A sharp. E flat major. A flat major. Move on to the minor scales. The second minor scales are a minor, a sharp, B minor, C minor, D minor, D sharp, E minor, F minor, G minor, and a flat minor. It takes time to master both right hand and left hand synchronization. After you memorize the scale, you can move to the chords. What chord should you learn first? As a beginner, you should practice 2 to 3 chords at a time to become proficient. Trying to learn too many chords is not practically useful. You ought to start with the quick change chords before moving to A7, B7, and E7 chords. The secret to becoming a competent chord player is the timing. The idea is to create harmony with the left-hand chords and provide a rhythm with the right hand. After you memorize the chord shapes, you can lean the metronome. This can be quite challenging, so it takes discipline and patience. A great way to track the progress is by recording yourself and listening to what you're playing. Factors that contribute to your learning. These factors are important when you are learning to play the piano. Learning thanks to a teacher. While learning without a teacher is doable, it pays to have a good teacher. When you do it alone, you're bound to run into roadblocks. A teacher will show you how to position your fingers and encourage you to keep pushing. Since most of the work happens in the practice room, you need a teacher for advice and guidance. Your music background doesn't matter. Learning to play the piano starts from somewhere. What matters most is your willingness to grasp the tricks. However, it may take longer to master the basics. After all, patience and focus are key to your success. Your work ethic matters. While I'm not suggesting spending dozens of hours practicing to play, you should schedule a few minutes a day. Your practice doesn't have to be tedious, just maintain consistency. If you want to learn fast, you can schedule a few weekly lessons and progress at the pace you wish. Psyching yourself out. As a beginner, you have control of your thoughts. If you get nervous playing the piano, learning can be quite difficult. Whenever you get to a difficult passage, you should take a break. Instead of waving the white flag, you can schedule a practice much later. Cheap keyboards are not the best. While most beginner pianists rush for a 61-key piano, you're simply limiting yourself to learning the instrument. If you're for a high-quality piano, you should choose the one with 88 keys. Patience matters. With good practice, you'll learn the fancy stuff that piano players enjoy. It takes time to develop the skills, but the efforts are worth it. Also, you can try different genres like classical, jazz, and pop. As a beginner, you don't want to get caught up on how long you can memorize the music. Once you understand the toughest part of a piano, you can play the pieces without having to stop all the time. You must build a strong foundation to avoid frustrations along the way or the urge to quit. Age doesn't matter. Let's face it. It's never too late to learn to play the piano. You may not become an international sensation within a few days, but you can grasp a concept. It's more fun to learn at a younger age, but there's no age limit. And don't be scared with the style of music. Instead, work on a technique, try a bit of everything. Final thoughts. As long as you get the basics right, you can learn to play the piano with time. A piano teacher will keep your expectations in check and help you choose the songs that match your skill level. If you want to learn to play for enjoyment, you can get great results within 2 to 3 years of practice. Whatever level you're hoping to achieve, you must commit yourself to learn. Do you like this information? Please hit the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We will be posting new videos weekly.